Hi guys, welcome to our channel Mumbai to Canada, and my name is Khushbu.
And my name is Rishabh.
And guys, I'm sorry that we are really sorry that it's been quite a while we've posted a video, but here we are with another video. Thank you so much for amazing response that we still continue to get on our digital marketing video. I know you guys want to know more about it, so what we are going to do is make another video, talk more about it. So we're doing our research and back end work. But we thought, before that, let's do another video, that is today's video, where we talk about 10 to 15 important points that you should know and that will help you in your initial days in Canada.
All right. So one of the first things that you should know is there's a lot of help online. The first advice we want to give you is do your own research. Use all of these help to kind of gather the information, but don't go on the face value of each and everything that you read or hear on YouTube or internet, including us. I'm not saying that we don't give you honest information or somebody else is not giving you honest information. It just boils down to please do your research, because there are so many things that are subjective to each and everybody's own experience, and a lot of what we say is purely objective to how we've kind of experienced Canada in the last 1 year and 1 month.
So I guess what he's trying to say, don't rely on one's only opinion. So I'll tell you what happens is, a lot of times we do research on big things, we don't do research on small things. We think that, oh, so and so person lives here, has recently moved here, so we'll go on their experience. Remember that not everybody will share everything that they know, and it, as Rishabh said, it might be based on their experience, but it might not be applicable to yours. So do your own research. So if I'm telling you buy a SIM card from Rogers or move into so and so apartment building, do your research on that SIM card or do your research on that apartment building. Just don't go just because somebody has experience from Canada is telling you.
Yeah. All right. The second point that we want to talk about is very simple. There's a lot of certifications that we discussed in our last video, the digital marketing video, that we mentioned that you can do from India. And I think that is, again, we want to reaffirm or kind of stress on that point again. This time we are not going to talk about digital marketing, but I think a lot of career options in Canada kind of embark first and foremost with a Canadian certification. And now with COVID and remote learning and online learning, the option to do a lot of these certifications online or from India are so much more easier that you don't really need to plan to come here first and then do your certification. I think spending that interim time before you arrive here and doing your certification would just mean that you will save that month, week, or how many ever days it takes you to do that certification, and straight away start applying for jobs. When a Canadian employer sees a Canadian certification, the likelihood of you getting a job over someone who doesn't have it is a lot higher. So come prepared with all sorts of certification. If I believe you can do certifications in literally everything, and name a few.
So for example, actually I don't know the name of the course. So one of our friend who is from a finance background, he did a banking course, a Canadian banking course back in India. It's called,
I think, IFSC, but
yeah, we're not sure of that. Yeah, we're not sure of that. And he did that when he was in India. When he came here, he got a job in like 3 months. He got a managerial job in 3 months in a bank. So
Yeah.
it really helped him. So such things might help you. Again, a lot of people ask us about courses and advices on what courses we should do. We're not sure about different fields, to be very honest. We would suggest is do your research online on that.
Yeah, and we're not trying to be lazy. The idea was never to become a career advice channel. We are not here to advise on. We are here to advise on just practical life hacks when you come to Canada, because a year ago we were in the similar place. So please do your research. I am 100% sure, right from HR, IT, banking, digital marketing, there are certifications that you can do from India at the comfort of your home, at the cost of living of your home country, and not have to worry about doing all of them here.
Perfect. Yes. Now that gets us to our next point. Now that you are here in Canada, the first thing we want is internet and mobile. Like we want a phone number and internet. Like we want to connect with everyone, right? So when you land, you know that you have to quarantine for 14 days. So there is a mobile plan for 14 days that you can get from the airport. Now there are two things. If you're booking an Airbnb, you will always get Wi-Fi there, but you will also start immediately applying for jobs. So you need a phone number. So you can get that plan, the 14 days plan from the airport when you come. Now, once the 14 days is over and that plan is over, you need a proper plan. Now, what I would what we would advise is, there's a group on Facebook called Indians in Toronto. It is an amazing group. It is a go-to place, you know, for all your little advices that you need and you know things you need to find in Toronto. You can there are like a lot of Indians work in telecom, and you know they can help you and you know hook you up on a good with a very good plan. Like when you enter a store, like there is Freedom, Rogers, Bell, Fido, many companies. They will try and tell you, you know, you can get a plan, you know, an idea from them. Post on Indians in Toronto, you know, I am getting 50 gig blah 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 from Rogers. Is there anybody who can help me with a better deal? And you will definitely get a better deal. And they'll also help you with home internet deal. So they sell the entire package, and you really always get good deals.
Yeah, so the point she's trying to make, and again, what we're saying is do your own research, you know, don't jump with the first plan you see. There's practically Wi-Fi everywhere available for free in Canada, so don't think that you will like be disconnected from the world, you know. Pick that airport plan for the first 14 days when you're quarantined, but then usually shop around, look online and find the best deal. Don't go for the first deal. Pick a network that is best for your area.
Yeah. Now coming to our next point that Rusha is going to talk about is called booking an appointment everywhere you go.
Yeah, so first thing when we came here was we literally day 2 in Canada, we walked into a bank and they were really surprised to see us, you know, as welcoming as people are to newcomers. And you should always mention that you're a newcomer, be it a bank account or a phone contract, because you never know, there might be offers for you. We had no idea that, you know, in a bank you can just not walk in without an appointment. So one thing that we would say, right from a phone connection to internet connection to anything and everything, make sure if there is an option to book an appointment, please book an appointment and go. Because what it does, it saves you time. It also is part and integral to the Canadian culture or the North American culture, where you showing the person opposite that you respect their time and hence you booked an appointment with them. So it's a good practice to kind of work on, and we would strongly advise that book appointments wherever you go.
And also you get a dedicated time, you know, dedicated half an hour,
Yeah.
20 minutes, whatever they give you, rather than, you know, them trying to adjust you in between their two meetings and, you know, the meeting might just get over. So booking an appointment is must.
Yeah. All right. So the next point that Khushbu is going to talk about is how to pick a place to live.
Actually, yeah, like a lot of times, you know, everybody will advise you, and this is what, you know, when you've come to Canada initial years, are all about struggling to try and save as many mullahs as possible. Like, you know, try and, you know, live in a basement or share an apartment, etc. And, you know, don't live in Toronto, it's very expensive. No, none of that is true. People we know live in downtown, pay less rent than what we pay in midtown, and live a comfortable life. So it's not that only when you go to GTA you get good deals. You also get good deals in Toronto. It's just you have to do your research well. It's all about you know going around, you know, seeing what places offer you what. Like there's a general perception, you know, if this is downtown it's going to be expensive. Not always. And also what happens with GTA, the communication becomes commuting becomes a problem. So, you know, it becomes a problem from traveling to one place unless you're deciding to buy a car immediately. Then maybe you're sorted for a good, you know, in a good way. But otherwise commuting becomes a problem. You know, you will be traveling 2 hour one way, you know, if your work is somewhere in Toronto. So please make sure that you research properly, because you will find good reasonable apartments starting from $700 or $1,700 even in downtown Toronto.
Yeah. Now again, you know, one thing that I would like to add about living in downtown is, especially for people like Khushbu and me who are from bigger cities, living in GTA or outside of the Toronto city might be really depressing in the first, because it's a strong residential area. So you might not see a lot of shops or people, and especially after 5 or 6 in the evening, it'll be like dead. So when you come here, the overwhelming emotions of negativity might always be lurking in your head. So try and be in a busy area. That is what our advice would be, so that you feel a little more connected with the world, and you know, you don't feel like a lot homesick.
Yeah. Now coming to our next point, which is the most important point, which we regretted that we did not know. You know, a lot of times you come, okay, you've decided the location, you've taken appointments from realtors, and you're looking for building. A lot of time people ask for guarantors over here, which pinches you, because you know, you've seen an apartment, Now you saw an apartment, you liked it, it fits in your budget, you're ready to, like sign a lease, and they'll tell you, oh, we need a guarantor. Now what is a guarantor is something Rushabh is going to explain.
Yeah, so you only need a guarantor if you and your spouse, or if you're alone, for example, you don't have a working job over here. So when you apply for a house contract or a lease, what they are expecting from you along with your documents is last 2 months salary slips, or what we call them over here, pay stubs. Now for some reason, if you're a new immigrant like we were when we first came here, and you don't have a job yet, it can be really tough finding an apartment. There are a few hacks around it. One of the hack is that you can offer to pay a few extra months of advance rent, which kind of builds more trust for the landlord. But in most cases, if you're in downtown, midtown, or in a popular area, the landlord or the leasing agency might just ask you for a guarantor. Now, this is something that we wish we knew about. Guarantor is nothing but a person who can guarantee that in case if you default the rent, he or she, the guarantor, would pay on your behalf. Now, for most of us, like Khushbu and me, don't know anybody in Canada. I mean, we know people now, but we don't have anybody like in the name of close family who can take a guarantee for us. And again, it's a lot to ask from somebody. So be prepared, ask for all of these things before you finalize an apartment, because you might be heartbroken when you don't get an apartment that you really like. So,
and also don't be disappointed if somebody says, no, I don't want to be a guarantor. It takes a lot.
It's not an easy,
it's not easy. It's just like if somebody will come and ask us, we will think, of course, then it all depends on, if they are how close they are to me, etc. But don't be disheartened if somebody tells you no, that we don't want to be a guarantor. It is a tough spot for them as well.
Yeah, you know what? And one thing I would say, like when we first came here, Khushbu wanted to move back to India in like the first month, at least every day. And in that mindset, if I ask somebody else to commit or be a guarantor, it's just not fair. So I would say don't look for any accommodation which requires you to give a guarantor. Instead, see if you can find an accommodation which either takes additional rent in front, or lets you, because you're a newcomer, appreciates that fact and lets you still get a contract and live in that building without having to pay extra rent, or without having to kind of, source a guarantor.
Right. Now we come to our next point. A lot of people, find it difficult to find their first job in their field, but then you don't want to even spend your savings. And if you are up for, doing doing a different jobs, like it's not only, working in Tim Hortons or Starbucks. You can actually work in an Apple store. You can work for a call center. You can actually work in a restaurant. There are a lot of these hourly wages jobs that can help you and, get you rolling in terms of getting paychecks and at least helping you save some money and spend wisely.
Correct.
So that is something you could do.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to speak about, like just when you first come here, definitely if there's two of you, like in our case, take that decision that if one of you can pick up any job, it makes sense. If you don't want to do a restaurant job, or if you don't want to work as a server or something, completely up to you. What we have over here is something called like Uber Walker, where you can walk and deliver food, and you get paid for each and every delivery. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of students do that. There is no time limit if you're a permanent resident, and it's good easy money. You can make, if you work hard and long enough, I think you can easily make over $100 a day, and that's not bad. That's not bad. It's a lot of walking, but it'll keep you fit and also give you good money and tips. So definitely think about doing those kind of things. And again, these are things that you need to plan before you come. Nobody's gonna tell you this.
Yeah. Now coming to our next point.
Let me tell you, the next point, it's close to me and my heart. It's about getting your driver's license.
Yeah.
The first thing that you should do, male or female, at whatever capacity is, get your DL abstract from India. If you don't have your DL abstract, that's okay. In Ontario, we have a graduating license system, which means you start at something called G1, which is the theory or written exam. Do it in the first week itself if you can. Okay, do that exam, because that becomes not only your proof of ID, but it's also great to kind of then work towards your next graduation level, which is G2. Now G2 is the actual license test, where you can then, after passing your G2, you can drive in Ontario or Canada, anywhere. What I would advise is work towards getting your DL abstract and then skip G2 and directly give G. G is which includes the highway test. Again, we don't want to talk about these things because thousands of YouTubers have made videos on this. But the important thing is, please plan for getting your license as soon as possible. Like if I was to give you a hierarchy, mobile phone contract, accommodation and license would be like close second for me. Like make sure that license is in the top priority. Don't leave it for aayenge dekhenge. Do not plan like that. License is extremely important. You will realize we realized in our first summer how horrible it was to not have a car. We don't need a car, you just need a license. You can always rent a car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of renting services like how India has options, but then none of that was possible because I was too stupid to get my license done.
Also,
and then COVID happened.
To be very honest, also there's the exam is not tough. It's an easy exam. All you need is we practice for 2 nights, honestly. But you take 1 week of your time and practices. There's an app called G1. There are 2 apps. One is called G1 Genius and one is called G1 Driving something. So it's a white color app with G1 written in blue font, like in blue color. The font is blue in color.
You might paste the link of that app.
Yeah,
in the
we'll do that
description.
so that you'll get a better idea. That app really helped us. We only practiced on that app. We understood and just don't know. So the questions are the same, but the wordings might be different. So just don't ratto maro things because the question might be slightly different, but the answers are the same. So understand the question and you will pass the exam.
Yeah, again, please Google this. There's thousands of videos on YouTube, so don't want to become like another driving YouTube channel. Alright, so the next important point that we want to talk about is now that you found accommodation and hopefully you got your license and life is slowly moving towards your first job, you find your apartment and you want to furnish it. So some of the best places to kind of shop over here for furniture are IKEA, Walmart. Definitely go to Walmart. They have crazy great deals on furniture, and for newcomer a lot of the furniture is never spanky and fashionable. It's more practical, so definitely IKEA are the places. One really favorite place of ours when we first came here was Costco. Now Costco is like a big department store chain in North America. What we did not know, again, this is something that you need to know now.
So a lot of people will always tell you go to Costco, get good deal and you can buy in bulk and it's cheap. Everything is true. What people might miss telling you that you need a membership.
Yeah.
So what happened with us? We went to Costco, bought our bed sheet, our duvet, everything.
Pillows, everything.
We
Yeah.
filled 2
Our cart
big
was filled,
carts,
overfilled.
Yeah. And we went to the billing counter and they said, "Oh, are you a member?" And it was an embarrassing moment for us. We did not know that Costco only requires membership. Again, people will advise you to go to Costco. They might or might not tell you that you need a membership. So membership. Now the membership is not cheap. There are 2 kinds of membership. One is a $60 membership. One is a $120 membership. So you are investing that kind of money to become
That's
a member.
a yearly membership. It's not a monthly membership.
Yeah.
So it's worth the money because the kind of money that you can save from shopping in Costco, it's a lot. We would advise you to take the $120 a year membership because it gives you 2% cash back, and it also gives you like I think 3 times a year you get these really nice voucher booklets which give you additional dollars off on a lot of the shopping. The $120 membership includes 2 cards. So instead of getting 1 card for you and the missus, find a friend and then split the $60 each so that it's cheaper. So work smart that way. Again, don't be in any rush to just get the membership. Again, what we did was we each got a card like stupid people, and then only later that we found out that some thrifty Indians before us had kind of got a friend along, and then both the friends split the $120. So whatever you're comfortable with, please do that. Again, the idea is not to tell you how to get that card, but the idea is to tell you that please make sure that you know that you have to get a membership card before you can shop in a Costco.
Right.
Right.
Perfect, guys.
So let us make sure that we haven't missed anything. We still have a lot of points.
But I think the most important point is nobody talks about is the importance of social life over here. It is very important to meet people, to make friends, to go around, because that will make your entire journey smooth and easy.
All right. One thing on the accommodation front, and I was just looking at our points. Remember, Canada, at least Ontario and Toronto, in summer, which is a good 4 or 5 months, it's crazy hot. It's probably hotter than Mumbai, and that can be a understatement. I think there are heat waves over here. So whenever you find an accommodation, make sure the apartment or the basement or wherever you are has air conditioning. You will not survive without air conditioning. So if you get a good deal on an apartment, most likely that apartment won't have air conditioning. So make sure that you have heating and air conditioning, everything in your control, because there are buildings over here that do not give air conditioning during the winter months. So again, try and do that research before you go. Make sure before you book your appointment, you ask whoever the person is on the other side that, hey, does your building have air conditioning? Can I control the air conditioning myself? Because that is something that people don't kind of think of. We did the same mistake, and then fortunately or unfortunately, we had to cut short our first lease in the first 9 months and then move to this place where we have air conditioning now. So do not take Canadian summers lightly. They are extremely hot.
Yeah. I guess now we've covered all our points.
All right, just one last thing. Job references. Again, if you know anybody who works, in a company of your choice, I think it's great to ask them for referrals. Referrals is nothing but asking them to forward your CV. One thing that Khushbu was very lucky with was to reach out to people on LinkedIn, politely ask them for references, and she was fortunate to get reference from someone. So whenever you're looking for work, when you come here, please also don't badger people. Like, I think again, the right way to go forward is to ask them, connect with them, introduce yourself, and then see if they would be willing to forward your CVs to the HR. Because something that I had spoken in one of our earlier videos is, and once you're an employee of a company, you are already like trusted as a person, and so if a referral goes from you, your referral will be valued over and above every other applicant that came from LinkedIn or anywhere else. So definitely ask for references from people, in case if there is a vacancy in a company that you want to work for. So I think, yeah, that's bang on the buck. That's all the points that we wanted to discuss. Guys, thank you so much. We are so close to that 1000 subscriber mark. We really appreciate if you can click on that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, please. All your feedback and comments are appreciated. We have upgraded our camera, so hopefully you guys can hear me now.
Yeah.
And the video appears a lot better, but definitely we need the subscribers to kind of motivate us. So please click on
Like,
that
share,
subscribe.
and subscribe.
All right, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Happy Diwali, guys.
Oh, happy Diwali.